What am I? Champagne Friday, of course. But what kind of Champagne Friday? Balcony hiking. Have you heard that expression before? Probably not. But it's actually something that I've been doing quite often. When I went to Mediterranean or the Canary Islands in the wintertime, we always looked for a perfect spot to drink champagne, even if the weather were not really great. And that is normally the balcony. And in the place of the home of Björnstjerne, where I am right now, we have this perfect protection from the next balcony above us. So I can sit here in the rain, pure city air, it's close to a big motorway, but on this side, in Sweden, in this time of year, purity of the air is, I wouldn't say it's New Zealand, it's not Patagonia, it's not the Alps, but it's so much better than most countries around the globe when it comes to purity and freshness, which is basically the thing you're searching for when you make all the perfect champagne hikings. It's also very convenient how you sit, and if you go to frozen, go inside, carry on there. But in this spot where I am sitting right now, you see there's a lot of flowers around me, but today dominated more of the green notes together with the street, the smell of the street, because it was sun before and it got dry by the sun, raining on that, and it's a lovely, fresh, pure smell bouquet in the air. So actually perfect conditions for a champagne hiking. What am I tasting today? A favorite? Not. The worst I know? Not. A very interesting, a very good type of champagne for the broad audience. I'm actually tasting champagnes that are sold so much in my own country and in other countries as well. Alexandre Bonnet, the biggest producer selling a lot of champagnes from the Aube, in price categories which are very, very low. They're always well made, properly made, a little bit boring if you ask me, and of course you should ask me because I'm a champagne expert, so I should know. So I would never buy them myself, I would never recommend them, but they are in a price category where people like them, and I think as beginners champagne they could be very good. Le Récy, the most famous village in Aube. Why? Because they have a special appellation, the only appellation which is just from one village. It's the biggest village in Champagne, huge amount of hectares, and it's almost only Pinot Noir. And those Pinot Noirs have a very specific perfume, not as specific as they say in Le Récy, because they make this Rosé de Récy, a still rosé wine from the village with its own appellation. The only one in the entire Champagne as a still rosé. So it's very, very special. Because of this reputation, they are particularly interested in making sparkling rosé champagnes as well. And there is a trend, even among the greatest of champagne producers, to put an amount of still rosé de Récy or still red wine from Le Récy in the Cuvée Prestige Rosés, a trend which I dislike. There are many great Cuvée Prestige Rosés that used to have Ailly, Boussy, etc., who are today swapping over to Le Récy, and for me in blind tastings it's always goes too simple for me. It's a little bit artificial, it's more on cherries than on strawberries or raspberries in this elegant style that you get from the Grand Crus. Intensity, yes. Color, yes. Pureness, fatness, yes. But not the type of elegance that I expect in my Belle Epoque crystals, all these kind of superb Cuvée Prestige Rosés. So, in front of me I have two whites and one pink. Pinot Noir, 80% in the whites and 100% in the rosé. Alexandre Bonnet made all three, but under different labels. And this is a thing that I want to pinpoint today. There's many champagnes that you find out there, and people are asking me, why have Richard never tasted that and that brand? And The most common answer is I have, but under another label. And if you look very low on the labels, you will find these codes. NM, Négociant Manipulant, Champagne House, with the right of buying grapes or using their own grapes from the entire region. Récolté Manipulant, the grower who makes his own champagne from its own terroir. Those two are the absolutely best categories where all the great ones, with perhaps two exceptions, Saint-Gall Cooperative in Avis, Cooperative, CM, Cooperative Manipulant, and Mailly Cooperative, the only two cooperatives which are really pushing themselves to the limit and making gorgeous 4-star champagnes. Otherwise, stick to those. If you find MA, then it's buyer's own brand, and that is something which is very good to have in the lower price categories. But if you speak quality, rarely you find something which is even worth the price. So the first one is Grand Reserve, 80% Pinot Noir, everything from Le Récy. What do I find? What is the most striking thing? Well, the most striking thing is something that I've been promoting so strongly over the past couple of years. It is the enhancing of the perfection of a champagne in the perfect environment. Because I was tasting it inside, very simple, very creamy, but very round, without any definition, no edges to it, no tension. When I come out, so much more elegant. A little bit more smoky notes appears. Minerality, which is not the thing you expect from either the producer or the terroir. It's there on the nose. Pear dominating, red apples, a rich fruit, but a little bit too rounded, a little bit flat. Better outdoors. Of course, less evident on the palate, but even here, when I breathe this purity of the perfect temperature around 15-16 degrees, which we have right now here in Stockholm, and get this crispy air together with what we have in the champagne, so much better. A simple champagne that will taste not great, but rather good. Next to it, it's a typical example of someone putting its own name or brand on top of the label, but coming from exactly the same producer. It's this one. Have you seen? Von Graven. Sigurd von Graven, as they say in Norway. I hope I pronounce it good. I'm not sure if it's von Graven or von Graven. Doesn't matter. Who is this? I've never met him. I read a little bit. He's very interested in wine, of course, and he's got a great knowledge of wine. But he's coming from the music world, and he's playing in this hard rock band, and became quite famous in Norway because of that, and wanted to make his own products based on what he likes. When I read about him, they call him a Renaissance man, and I've been hearing that about myself. So I got great respect for his what he wants to do. He wants to be a good father, first of all. It's the same with me. That's number one. Then you want to explore the world, the music world, perfect wines, and sports. That's some of the most important things. There are other things, but I can't speak about them here. It will be a little bit too provoking to speak too strongly about that. But Björn kind of know exactly what I mean. Differences in von Graven. Actually, this time so small that I'm not sure if it's a bottle variation or if it's exactly the same. It's probably exactly the same wine, but with slightly less or more maturity because of aging. So same impressions. If I find something different, it's more due to the glasses or when we open the bottle. So no more comments around that. So just check the price between Alexandre Bonnet Grand Reserve, and Von Graven. Third, but not least, because it's 100% Pinot Noir, it's 100% Le Rosé, and which I already spoken about, this special village for the rosés. I have a habit at home with my kids. They need to search every Saturday for some raspberry artificial made hallonbåtar. Boats of raspberry. Some kind of strange Swedish candy anyway. And that note is so evident, it's so strong, and that is pure candy. It's artificial esters, it's not the purity of the actual grape, and that's the problem I got even in the Cuvée Prestige, using a lot of Le Rosé, like for instance Le Sourire de Reims, the Cuvée Prestige from Abelais, which used to be absolutely tremendous even in the Rosé. Still great when it comes to the white, but with the Rosé, too rich and too much of those kind of artificial candy-like aromas. Yeah, I can't see through them. That's too much of that. Yes, there are some strawberries, there are some cherries, there are some red flowers as well, some roses and so on, but not as natural and beautiful as I want them to be. Exactly the same sensation on the palate. Actually, the sugar is in powder form. It's powdery sugar, which is exactly what you obtain in many of those candies that you can have in the stores of Sweden anyway. So, did I have a great moment this Friday? I will probably, when you turn off the camera, I will drink something really good, something completely different. I think today I will go for... Actually no, I will go for a Florence Louise. That's something I'm longing for when I taste this kind of champagnes. So, see you next Friday. Cheers.
Cheers, Ricard.
Cheers.